Among a million stars, we'll wish up there is ours. Maybe this time it all comes true. I was on my own until that day you came into my world, and it changed everything. Now I'm not alone, and I can see a brand new path appearing before my eyes, but I can't reach it alone. I need someone to show me the sky, and a voice on the wind tells me that maybe you could lead the way. Among a million stars, I'll wish up there is ours. Maybe this time it all comes true. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it unafraid and take this world on together.
Hello and welcome to Javelin Studios. I'm Javelin, and that was the intro for the full release of Crystalline. And well, compared to the demo, this was just a normal CG art. There's no animation and no floating things. There's no this animated. It's animated. Shout out to the animators who made this. Before we continue with our playthrough, let's go over the extras that I promised to show. So the first one is the music room, which shows all of the musics. Well, I don't know why, but these are locked for me. Well, I actually played through this before, but maybe it's because I reinstalled this game on this laptop, and I guess it's not saved. I guess these are saved locally. I don't know. These are all the music that are locked for me, but it will unlock as we go through with the visual novel, with the game itself. And the next one is CG gallery, which is all the art that we come up to the point. Despite I completed it, well, everything is locked for me. I don't know why. I just saved over my old save. I actually played through this. The save file was there, but I just overwrite the last episode over the old save. So there should be some here, but I guess like I said, it's saved locally. These will be unlocked as we go through the story. The background gallery, let's see. We will unlock these as we move on. I'll put the links for the Discord server and Patreon page of Pixel Fate. I'll put the two links down in the description later on. And the credits, here are the credits. Shout out to all of these people. They are quite they're awesome people. Supporters. Yeah, these are all of them. Shout out to all of them. Well, without further ado, let's continue with Crystalline. So, which one is it again? I think it's this one. Yeah, it's a little bit lag, I don't know why. Oops! Yeah. Which one? For a second, I think I see the flames lighting the room flicker and a warmth permeates my body. It's pleasant, like an embrace. And although she holds my gaze, she doesn't speak. How did you get in here? Again, she remains silent, but this time she takes a step closer.
Who are you talking to?
Huh? I peek behind the woman and see Zack standing with an eyebrow raised and his arm crossed. The rest of my companions pause in their inspection of the room and stare at me. Kara stands beside an altar while Amelia and Leanna are both kneeling by the fox. The fox accepts their attention rhythmically. Sorry, I can't speak. Rhythmically. Come on. Rhythmically. Whatever, swishing its tail, but otherwise makes no move to respond. Instead, it fixes its attention on me.
Are you talking to the fox?
No. Well, apparently I don't think they can see her. I fall silent as the group casts me worried glances.
Who exactly are you seeing?
Okay, I don't know why there's lag right now, but I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but I'll just go through with it. There's a woman dressed in red and she's kind of flamey and she's standing right there with a pet firefox. Mozilla Firefox. Leanna looks towards the fox, but her eyes glaze right over the woman. She furrows her brows, concerned.
Okay.
Her voice is gentle, like she doesn't want to spook me. None of you guys can see her? The group collectively shakes their heads. I don't know why you guys can't see her, but I promise you, she's there.
Boy.
The Pango hops up from behind my legs. He first examines the woman with partial interest, then he stares in wonder at the fox. The fox cocks his head to the side and observes the Pango. The Pango perks up and cautiously bounces forward. He pauses right before the fox. The fox's nose wiggles as it sniffs out at the Pango. Then it swishes its tail and the Pango squeaks before running back behind my legs.
Boy.
Wait, do you see her too?
Boy.
Take that as a yes. The woman giggles at the Pango and gently pats his head. He shivers happily at her touch. Then she straightens up and takes a step closer. Her feet don't touch the ground and her skirt floats ethereally behind her. Instinctively, I back away.
What's going on?
She's getting closer. A lot closer. She pauses once she draws near and touches her palm to my forehead. A pulse of warmth flows through me before she retracts her hand. As if something inside me clicked open. I feel invigorated with restored strength. The stronger I feel, the more translucent the woman becomes. Soon, she disappears. The Pango stares at me with renewed interest. It reminds me of that same look he gave me when we first met. He licks his lips. Don't even think about it!
Boy.
The Pango pouts and lets out a sad sigh. Kara waves her hand in front of my face.
Hey, are you okay? You kind of zoned out there for a second.
I think I'm fine.
What happened?
I'm Not too sure.
Where's the woman now?
Actually, she's gone. Amelia reacts to my words by playing with her bracelets. She holds her manipulator up to me.
Curious. I may have a theory.
What is it?
All the energy which had accumulated here has now gathered within you.
I blink as it takes me a minute to register what she just said. Wait, I absorb the energy? Wait, that can't be right.
As I mentioned, it is merely a theory.
Leanna looks intrigued.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I felt it after she touched me. Leanna's eyes widened.
I wouldn't phrase it like that.
Not in a weird way. She just touched my forehead and suddenly I felt a rush of energy. Amelia stares hard at me. Why are you looking at me like that?
I am merely anticipating the imminent reaction.
Wait, is she going to think that I'm gonna explode? Reaction to what?
The high concentration of energy you just absorbed. The human body was not meant to process such large quantities of energy.
Yeah, I'm gonna explode.
At least, that has certainly been the trend with someone from Terra.
Amelia's gaze bores into me as she emphasizes the word Terra. Then she looks back down at her manipulator.
Although, 2 minutes have passed, and there seems to be no sign of an adverse reaction.
Why does she sound so disappointed? Suddenly, Kara squeals as she gingerly picked a rusty coin out of the remains of a leather satchel.
This is a genuine Vestin coin!
Zack glances at the coin and folds his arms, clearly unimpressed.
How much could a rusted outdated coin be worth?
About a few hundred gold pieces.
Zack's demeanor instantly changes.
You don't say.
Kara smoothly pockets the satchel as Zack covertly searches the room. As Kara finishes up her inspection of the room, Leanna looks around.
Well, since we found what we came for, we should head back.
Kara nods and leads the way out. As we leave the room, we notice the fire which had previously glowed in front of the barrier is now gone, but all of our items are still intact. Hey, nothing was burned in here.
Curious. Then it can be assumed that the purpose of this trial was not to destroy our possessions, but to test our willingness to sacrifice.
Kara happily scoops out her coin purse.
I'm not complaining.
Leanna smiles in relief as she reaches in and quickly collects what looks like a ring attached to a tin chain.
Let's keep going.
The rest of us snatch up our items and continue back out of the corridor. The trek out of the temple is a lot faster and easier than the trek in, mostly because there were no more obstacles to stop us. We pop up the same hidden wall in which we entered. Just as before, the main ceremonial hall is empty. We wave goodbye to the couple of monks sweeping the entryway, then begin the walk back to the village. So, we can speed up the process by choosing I don't really feel like talking, or we can get more information out of this, but it wouldn't be much. It wouldn't have much point by choosing the third one, so I asked to. So let's pick the first one, I guess. I fall in step with Kara. So who exactly were the Vestans?
They were the original tribe of Ember Mist, and the initial keepers of the Fire Temple.
Did they build a temple? Kara shrugs.
It depends on who you ask. Some experts believe they did. Others think the temple was already there by the time the Vestans came about.
Interesting. Now I'm curious. How did you get into treasure hunting? She pauses just a little too long before flashing me her usual cheerful grin.
I just sort of fell into it, honestly. Treasure hunting naturally fit into my nomadic lifestyle.
Where did you learn on the history to even identify relics?
You'd be surprised how much you pick up along the way, especially after you realize what a lucrative business this can be.
So you're just in it for the money?
I didn't say that. I'll admit that at first I was just in it for the money. But the more I learned about the ancient people of Asaria, the more invested I became in the history of each relic I found. I started to find myself daydreaming about who might have used the items I found. What kind of person were they? Did they cherish this item, or was it just another piece of their ever-growing collection of stuff?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a foolish way of thinking. First or the second option, it doesn't even matter, so yeah, it's a cool way of thinking. I never thought about it like that before. Maybe if I had, I would have paid more attention in history class. Kara looks at me strangely. Of course, I'm talking from my world.
Are you a treasure hunter too?
No.
But you sought out experts dedicated to history?
Something like that. It was less me seeking it out and more of a requirement that I had to fulfill. Kara looks skeptical but doesn't pry. So the next one, we'll just ask Amelia about her theory with that red woman. I approach Amelia. So, that theory that you mentioned in the temple about the woman, what was it? Amelia glances at me.
Given the location and circumstances previously described by Odorism, my estimation is that the unknown woman you encountered was a projected image of the fire elemental. Of course, as I could not observe her myself, I cannot be certain.
Do you think that's why she wouldn't talk back? Also, why wouldn't she just show up in person?
The amount of energy needed to sustain just an appearance of the elemental would have drained the temple completely. There would have been no energy left for her to give to you.
Is that why she disappeared right after?
The depletion of energy in the temple would have meant she'd no longer be sustained in this world.
Amelia looks thoughtful. Well, I hope she's not dead.
Although, it is quite unusual that she would have you absorb the energy to begin with.
I see. No wonder she was so hot. I had a feeling that was... Wait. It's a fire temple. She would... well, a fire elemental, so it would make sense that she's hot. Well, I'm already here, so saying this would already be no more sense already. Like, crossing dimensions is already a thing, so why wouldn't it? So, I think I'll choose the second option. That explains why she was so hot. Amelia looks at me curiously.
I assume, as the elemental of fire, it would only be appropriate that her being is imbued with the essence of her element. Naturally, that must mean her touch was hotter than average.
Well, I don't think we're meaning it that way. It certainly got the blood rushing, if you know what I mean. She stares straight at me.
I do not. Please elaborate.
Well, this is awkward. Just that when she touched me suddenly, all that energy rushed in and definitely got the adrenaline going.
Yes, I suppose that would happen.
She looks thoughtful.
Still, it is quite perplexing that she would only reveal herself to you.
It's not just me. The Pungo saw her too, I think. He didn't really make it clear if he was seeing her or just the fox thing.
The Guardian.
Huh?
The fox would be the guardian of the fire temple. Each temple has its own guardian who protects it.
Oh, so how come the Guardian didn't attack us for breaking into the temple?
We did not break in. The guardian enforces the trial in the temple. Only those who are able to complete the trials are welcome into the temple.
In this case, the magical fire we had to put our stuff in? Amelia nods, still deep in thought. Are you still trying to figure out why no one else would see the elemental? She nods again. Any theories?
As of now, I do not have one, but perhaps after some further research.
Her voice trails off as she falls back into a deep thought. Kara, Zack, and Amelia lead the way back to Ember Mist while I lag behind. The Pungo sits on my head. Leanna notices my absence and falls into step with me. She pats the Pongo, who ignores her, still too focused on the energy around me. Leanna pouts, then shakes away the Pongo's disregardance of her and focuses her attention on me.
Something on your mind?
I drop my voice low so the others can't hear me. Now that I've collected the energy from the temple, that means I can try to create a temporal rift and go back home, right? Kara stops, then rolls around to face us. Zack and Amelia stop with her. Well, I think Kara heard it, based on the last episode.
Pardon me, you were speaking very softly and it was a little hard to hear, but it sounded like you just said you need to open a temporal rift to go back home? But that can't be right, can it?
Jeez, this woman has got some supersonic hearing. I glance at Leanna, who looks alarmed. About that. Kara's smile falters at my hesitance, but Amelia looks excited.
I knew it. My hypothesis is correct.
Hypothesis? What hypothesis?
My hypothesis that he is from a parallel world.
Leanna's eyes grow wide and she forces a panicked smile.
I think all this parallel world and temporal rift talk has been getting to you. I mean, Elder Isum said it's impossible.
He has already admitted it.
What? Leanna and I have been careful not to say anything. When?
The day of our acquaintance.
I rack my brain but don't remember bringing that up around Amelia.
You sought out Professor Xavier's guidance, and after he imparted his advice, you and Leanna had a brief discussion in which you mentioned that what he had suggested was exactly what happened to you. Thus began my hypothesis that you arrived from a parallel world.
Leanna looks at me, unsure how to react. What can we do? Everything's out. I guess doesn't matter though, but the best way right now, I think it's better to be honest. Oops, sorry. I guess there's no point denying it now. If our game of cheat is any indication, Amelia can see right through a lie. You're right. I'm not from Terra.
Not from Terra, huh?
Zack looks me up and down and nods to himself.
That's a lot better than the alternative.
What is the alternative?
That you might be unique.
Zack!
He shrugs.
He didn't even know what a discharger was.
So, I'm basically a moron.
At least if he's from another world, that explains why he didn't know these things.
Kara looks skeptical.
How did he get here?
There have been unexplainably high concentrations of energy popping up throughout Isaria, and he happened to show up at one of those areas. We went to the Mage Academy to get some answers, and that's how we came up with the possibility that the high energy readings were temporal rifts, and somehow he had traveled through one. Why or how those rifts were even opened, we still don't know.
But if they're the only way for me to get back home, then I have to try to open one. Kara shrugs.
Let's just make sure you attempt to open one far away from where I'm standing.
Oh, in case I explode again.
That might be tricky considering no one knows how to open one. We may need to talk to Elder Isum.
That won't be necessary. I know how to do so already.
We all stare at her. How do you know that?
The directions are located in Elder Isum's old research notes, which I had gathered from the Academy. The spell itself is a simple conjuration, which even an amateur could do.
An amateur can open a temporal rift? Then why isn't everyone doing it?
The impossibility of the spell comes from the fact that the human body cannot manipulate the amount of energy needed for it.
She pauses, then points to me.
He may be an exception.
I squirm slightly as their gaze fall onto me.
Given that you have absorbed energy directly from the temple, which should also be an impossibility, I must assume that there is something within you which can possess the high amount of magic without suffering consequences. Perhaps it is a skill which you acquired from your world.
My world doesn't have magic. Yeah, that's true. Amelia blinks.
Regardless, only a short amount of time has passed. There is plenty of time for you to still internally combust.
A wave of unease makes my stomach queasy. In other words, I will explode regardless. Wait, is it? That's what she said? Hey, wait. FBI, open up! Maybe I should open up this rift now before that has a chance to happen. Amelia grins with excitement.
I concur with that suggestion.
That may be the best now that you have the magic.
Jack shrugs and Kara takes a look at our open surroundings.
Maybe we should first look for a spot with a bit more cover. We don't want to be opening up rifts on an open pathway.
Good point.
There was some tree cover towards the west.
We mumble our affirmations and follow Zack towards the trees. We settle into the grove of the trees. Both Leanna and Amelia stand on either side of me. Zack selects a tree far enough away not to be affected by any stray magic, but close enough to get a good view of what's going on. Kara, on the other hand, hangs back towards the outskirts of the trees. Zack looks back at her, an amused smile on his lips.
You'll miss the show from back there. You sure you don't want to come any closer?
Kara's voice is distant.
Yep.
There's a bit of movement as she takes another step behind a tree. I don't think we're gonna happen, right? Well, main character plot armor prevents us from dying this early, right? Lex, it doesn't even matter because we can't even. Well, I'm not gonna say much, but there's no way she can see anything from there. I can barely see her. I take a few steps closer to Kara,
Stop right there.
but you can't see anything from there.
On the contrary, I can see all I need from here.
She can at least see if other people will stumble upon us from there.
Oh, yeah, a lookout. That's exactly what I meant.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with her wanting to stay out of the splash zone.
Come on, it's like a water amusement park. It will be fun. Leanna furrows her brow.
Temporal rifts don't splash.
Yeah, it goes boom. If it does splash, nothing will happen because it's like a Pokemon.
No, but people do.
Zack!
He looks innocent.
What?
Leanna frowns. Amelia studies the notes, then nods to herself and snaps the book shut.
The casting is quite simple. It is the same technique as any other cast.
Leanna looks at me.
Are you ready?
I nod. Amelia glances at my stance, then frowns.
Your stance is incorrect. Straighten your spine.
I lengthen my spine and stand as straight as I can.
Now you are too tense. Keep yourself relaxed, but do not slump.
Okay. I release some of the tension in my back. She's about to speak again, but Leanna gently pulls Amelia to the side.
Okay, I think he gets it.
She steps in front of me and gives me an encouraging smile.
Your stance is fine. Just remember to raise your arms in front of you.
I do as she says and she nods.
Now, the actual casting part is gonna sound tricky. You'll need to focus your mind on the spell you want to cast.
So I should just think about temporal rifts? Well, I almost said tempura.
Yes, but you need to connect that thought with the magical energy. Clear your mind of every thought.
I close my eyes and push away all of my doubts and confusion and focus on... wait, what? I close my eyes and push away all of my doubts and confusion and focus on Leanna's voice.
Now, think about the rift that you wish to create.
I imagine tearing a hole in the fabric of reality. I don't know what a rift would look like or feel like. All I remember is a bright light. It's the bright light. Should I focus on that light?
At the same time, sense for the magic within you.
I try to sense for any kind of magic, but nothing feels out of the ordinary. How do I know where the magic is?
It'll feel like a tendril or willing warmth. When you find it, reach out for it and grab hold. The magic is eager to be used and will latch on.
Yeah, I agree. I wish women were more like my magic. I kind of forgot, like, what will happen if I choose. I don't think it matters. Also, when we choose any other option, I only remember the more important ones, but I'm not sure. I wouldn't say the third one. Obviously, I wouldn't pick the third one. I wouldn't pick that. But I just want to see what would happen if I actually choose the second one. Let's go with it. If only women were so eager for me to reach out and grab hold. But just like my women, the magic still eludes me. I sigh sadly.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I was just concentrating a little too hard. Oops, I got a little too distracted. Time to get back to business. Reluctantly, I clear my mind and let go of my thoughts of Leanna. Then focus on sensing for the magic.
Once you find the magic, connect your thoughts of the rift with the magic, and then channel both the magic and the thoughts through your hands to cast it in the open.
I continue sensing, hoping to find even a hint of warmth. But how do I know if it's just my own warmth or the magic? Sweat beads on my temples as I strain to cast, but nothing happens. Eventually, my arm grows weary and my mind is exhausted. I decompress with a sigh. It didn't work.
It's okay, we can try again. People aren't usually able to cast on their first try.
I mentally groan. The idea of doing all that again does not thrill me. There must be something I'm missing.
It just takes some getting used to. Plus, you're trying to cast without a manipulator.
Oh yeah, both you and Amelia use manipulators to cast. Maybe that's why I wasn't able to do it.
Well, the manipulator's function is to house the energy source for us to cast with. Technically, because you already have the energy within you, you shouldn't need a manipulator.
Oh,
But this is all theory anyway. It may be easier trying to cast using a crystal, especially for a first-time caster.
Regardless, there could be a multitude of factors for why this attempt was not successful. One for which could be as simple as the fact that you still did not possess enough energy to open the rift.
shouldn't the temple have had enough?
Theatrically, perhaps, but a significant portion of the energy was already being used to sustain the elemental's image. She was able to transfer what was left of the energy to you, which from my readings was only 20% of the total energy in the temple when we started.
Suddenly, Kara is standing right beside us, as cheerful as ever.
That sounds like you all still need to explore some more temples.
I jump at her presence. Even Leanna and Amelia seem surprised to see her so close. Only Zack is unaffected. How did you get here so fast? She grins at me.
Am I wrong?
The Pongo jumps out of Kara's arms and hops into mine. I pat in on the head and he wiggles contentedly, licking the air around me.
So it could be that he doesn't know how to cast, or that he doesn't have enough energy.
Sure, but what does that mean for you all in terms of next steps? Are you going to hang out in Ember Mist until he learns how to cast?
It could take him weeks before he can even cast the simplest of spells. That is quite a long time to rely on someone else's hospitality.
It sounds like it would still be in your best interest to visit at least one more temple just to be sure you have enough energy. You can teach him how to cast on the way, so by the time he gets there, he'll be ready to go.
Leanna looks thoughtful.
That does seem like the better option than the alternative.
If it's the fastest way to get me back home, then I'm not opposed to having all of our bases covered. I'm really not.
That is the most efficient course of action. If we can mitigate any uncertain factors, then we can pinpoint where the weakness is and adjust accordingly for a successful cast. The research this will provide will be very informative.
Hearing Amelia's affirmation, Zack shrugs.
Since I'm here to protect Amelia, I go where she goes.
Kara smiles broadly and slings her arm around Zack and Amelia, much to their dismay.
Great. Then our arrangement is still on.
Hey!
Zack moves out of Kara's grasp. She smirks.
Most men would be thrilled to have a pretty woman hug them. Right, Amelia?
That is correct. A healthy physique is inherently attractive for potential mates.
Kara lets go and starts to lead the way out of the forest.
We should spend the night in Ember Mist. We can plan our next steps there.
Once we are in agreement, we follow Kara back to Ember Mist. Upon arriving, we head to the inn.
We can spend the night here. I'll meet you back down in the lobby in a few minutes.
She ventures upstairs while we secure 2 rooms with the innkeeper. As we retrieve our keys, Amelia excuses herself.
I wish to seek an audience with Elder Isum and continue our discussion. I would be remiss to let such an opportunity pass.
He seems like a good guy, but maybe we keep the fact that I'm not from here a secret.
Yes, that is something in which we are in agreement.
Oh, okay. She nods and leaves the inn. Decor or decor? I forgot how to pronounce stuff. Yeah. The decor of the inn is very similar to Elder Isum's hut. Pillows and rugs line the ground as a few people sit cross-legged in front of the fire. A few tables line the other side of the lobby, all of which are empty. In fact, aside from the couple of people chatting by the fire, this place is very empty. Once I sit down, I feel a fatigue pass over me, but I try to shake it off. I guess they don't see too many visitors here.
For a city that's supposed to be so secret, that's not surprising. It's more surprising that they have an inn.
I nod and stifle a yawn. We sit at the table as Zack orders us dinner. After a few minutes, Kara returns.
Where's Amelia?
She went to speak with Elder Isum. She nods. My eyelids droop and I'm stifling yawns every few minutes. My limbs feel like leaded weights and it's taking all of my effort to sit upright. After I let out a wide yawn, Leanna glances over at me.
Maybe you should go to bed. We're winding down anyway, so it'd be a good idea to get some rest.
I nod barely. That sounds really good right now. I guess absorbing all that energy really takes it out of you, huh? Leanna smiles at my joke.
It would seem so.
Regardless, I'm grateful for the excuse to leave. I trot upstairs and fumble with the key before opening the door. Then I fall onto one of the... Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's someone putting firecrackers outside. Well, I hope I can okay. Then I fall onto one of the twin cots and pass out as soon as my head hits the pillow. So that I think now is a good time for me to end this episode. So I continue this the next one. So thank you guys for watching Javelin Studios. I'm Javelin and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Crystalline.